Okay. All right. Please, can some participants just share with us their expectations in the chat box whilst we prepare to receive our first speaker? I know we mentioned them in our Google Forms, but if you can just type in the chat box your name, where you're joining us from, and your expectations, so that I know that I'm not talking alone. Okay.
Hello, my name is Jessica Oga. I am joining from Uganda. It's very nice to be here, hoping to learn more about how men can champion the cause in preventing teenage pregnancy in Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I can see Sally joining from my 4, Limbe, Cameroon. Okay. Okay. Is everyone with us?
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Everybody.
I'm
Okay.
joining Nigeria, Abuja. Thank you.
Thank you. So our first speaker tonight is Mr. Aaron Sunday. He is a public health specialist, a global health activist, an award-winning advocate and researcher who specializes on HIV, TB, and sexual reproductive health rights response for adolescents and young people in their diversities. He has over 9 years of experience of operational optimization of diverse youth networks, organizations across both state, national, regional, and global level. He's currently the executive director of African Network of Adolescents and Young Persons Development and the national coordinator of the Association of Positive Youth Living with HIV in Nigeria. And he's going to be taking us through our first module, which is on navigating puberty as a boy and self-awareness. So ladies and gentlemen, please just hang in there, ask as many questions as you can, and we hope that is going to be an interactive session. So Aaron, over to you. Thank you.
Okay, so I will appeal for just give me like 3 minutes. I just need to park. I'm driving. I need to park the car so that I'll be able to communicate effectively. So just give me like 3 minutes. Maybe we can end things while I thank you.
Okay. All right. So whilst waiting for him to join, I would just like to share with us some few statistics, even though this is not really a scientific discussion, but sometimes when we understand how big a problem is, then we can be able to know the reason why we even have to sit and have a conversation like this. Generally, the rate of teenage pregnancy has decreased over the years, but it's still high in sub-Saharan Africa. The Caribbeans are mostly in low and medium income countries. And this is obviously because of their low socioeconomic status, education, child marriages, and other sociocultural practices. And yearly, the UN says that 2 21 million girls between the ages of 15 to 19 in developing regions become pregnant, and approximately 12 million give birth. So that's how serious this whole issue of teenage pregnancy is. So maybe we can just share from our own perspectives, maybe hands-on experience we have had, or maybe you've had a little sister or a child in the neighborhood who has been involved in this. We can just share our own perspectives while waiting for the speaker to join us. Okay, hi, welcome Brian. Thank you. Joining from Yaoundé, Cameroon. Thank you. Okay.
I can see a hand up. I think Adibeli's hand is up.
Okay, okay. You have the floor, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Chidima Beli. I'm based in Ogun State, Nigeria. I just want to share some personal experiences about teenage pregnancy that I have witnessed. I have a friend in my church who got pregnant at a very young age. She got pregnant because she wasn't educated and she did not understand her body. She did not understand her cycle. She did not understand herself. And she was also pressured by her mom to get into a relationship. So her mom actually wanted her to get into a relationship, get married. But in her mind, she did not have any idea about herself, her values, and because she did not have that understanding, she got into the relationship, she got pregnant. And what I discovered was her child will be 5 years now. She had a lot of regrets in the past because now she has learned a lot of things. She now had to write WAEC and decide to go to school. She took a lot of learnings from that experiences, understanding the importance of education and really understanding herself and her body, especially her cycle. So I realized that there are many children who are at the puberty stage and they don't understand their cycle, they don't understand how their hormonal whatever fluctuation happens, and then maybe when they are ovulating, they are hornier than usual and they just feel like okay, when they are in that ovulation phase, they don't understand that this is ovulation phase. They don't understand this is their period. This is different phases of the cycle, and that's a lot of can indulge. Some of them can get raped and just get into the wrong relationship. People don't understand consent, and so from that experience, what I took from it was that when children are getting, before they even get to that stage of puberty, they need to understand their sexuality, to be taught from home, from schools. And I think it will drastically reduce the rate of teenage pregnancies if young people learn about themselves more. They can be able to make responsible decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Adesowa, for sharing. And we can pick that this is important to have the appropriate education. And that just directly leads us to our first speaker, Aaron, who will be telling us the importance of understanding understanding ourselves as boys and learning self-control. So Aaron, if you're ready, can we have you now?
All right, thank you very much. Apologies, I wish I can put my video on, but where I am, the lightning is not favorable for me. So
Okay.
probably I would just speak. Um, Let me start by saying I transited from the adolescenthood without a parent. So I want to start by saying that so that we understand the difference between when you are living with your parents and you have someone to see you through, and when you are just a mature minor being there. So because of that, there are a lot of will I call it misconception, a lot of doubts that were more visible for me when I was passing through the phase of poverty. As an adolescent, if not the fact that we went to school to notice that, to learn about what puberty means and know that some of those physical changes and things happening to our body was actually puberty, most of us did not know that we were on our puberty age. And as a guy or as a boy, as a male child, I don't know how it is for the female because it's quite different sometimes. But for the male child, you find self confidence if the realities of others is what you also see in yourself. For instance, the common signs of poverty might be growing of hair on the private part, whether on your armpit or at your pelvic region, or probably maybe the deepening of your voice, all those things. But when you are in the same age with some people, and then you notice that they are having this reality and you are not having reality, this same reality, it kind of becomes strange, and sometimes you begin to ask questions that might not even be reasonable. And sometimes you might find yourself offending yourself and offending the one who created you. And also, because of limited information about how our body and some of the required changes that we might see as we grow in the different phases of the adolescenthood, sometimes what is supposed to be natural, we can translate it to be spiritual, or we can translate it to be abnormal. I will give you an instance. I used to, before then, I don't know what wet dreams is. But I notice I wake up from sleep, my panties are already wet. And oftentimes, religion perspective, they make you believe there is this spiritual wife out there that you sleep with. But as an adolescent, I didn't know that this is a natural thing that happened to everybody. So not until I went to the facility and I gained courage, to be honest, because when some of these changes are happening, many men or many boys cannot really be able to speak up. Most of us prefer to keep quiet, live with it until whatever happens. But I summoned courage to tell one of the nurses to say, see, I'm noticing these changes. And then also I noticed that I will sleep and I wake up. I see my pants getting wet. I didn't sleep with anybody. But why am I seeing something that is a little bit yucky, like a semen and something? That was when I was meant to understand that what wet dreams is a normal thing within the adolescenthood. So if I am to look at my life as an individual who have to force himself through to learn about himself by asking questions based on the reality of what I see changing in me, and then an individual that is also within the circumference of having caregivers or parents, is two different reality, because most of the things we lack among adolescent boys is the confidence of having the parent to openly discuss with them. Most parents shy away about talking about these changes that will definitely happen, this conversation that will definitely need to be done. Most parents shy away from it. I will also not blame some of the parents. Why? Because conversation between a parent and a child, there are different vices to it. Take, for instance, if I'm a father of a boy, if I'm talking to him and the environment I created isn't for him to be free, then we will end up not having conversation, but rather having instructions. So even if I have my boy that want to like share with me some things he's seen, that he will have loved to ask me questions about what does it mean at his own age, he won't be able to do that, because of course he feel if I tell daddy this with the way daddy is even saying it, daddy might end up beating me, or daddy might end up telling me it's bad. And also the same thing happened with the female gender, even though we see more conversation around puberty and also adolescenthood, often happen more easy with the mother and the daughter. In some instances, it's more easier that way. We have mothers that have made their daughters and such, they can be able to talk about the ladies' sexuality, the ladies' physical changes that is happening to her, and also help her understand that in the near run, you will start having pressure from the guys trying to like come over to ask you they want to be with you, date you, and all that. And then, of course, there's a top. But most times, the boys, we don't always get that opportunity to have that with our, because most times the father is so busy going out trying to vent for the family, and oftentimes these are conversations the male parent often shy away from, because they feel like, no, 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 he's a boy. When he grow, he will learn it, and he will be able to do what is right for him. So where is the communication guide? Where government putting in tools and documents that will foster this communication? As easier as you think about parent to child communication, it is difficult when you are trying to do that with your children. It is very difficult sometimes. It's easier for us to say we want the parent to talk to their children about A, B, or C regarding their sexuality, their puberty, and their adolescenthood. But oftentimes, most parents do not even know how to strike a conversation, how to start a conversation, how to maintain a conversation, and how to be able to give that child the free will to be able to express themselves. So this brings me to saying, how do we start seeing how parent-to-child communication guidelines or tools are developed, not just for sexual education, not just for HIV, but possibly it could be about their socioeconomic development, because most children grow to most times see their parent first as their source of inspiration of what they want to become, how they want to do their life, and also most of the negative vices we see in the society today, where you see a boy beating a girl, or you see a boy raping a girl, or you see a boy uh, exercising some sort of unnecessary masculinity on a girl. Most of them are as a result of what they see during growing up with their parents. So we need to demystify this by trying to see how do we get information out there, both to the parent. And permit me to say, in the context of the reality we are now, there is one cross-cutting issue across Africa, which is age of consent. And age of consent have been a stumbling block for why should a child be able to be confident to access service without the parent, when that child need that services. Now, if you look at it away from the context of services, and you look at it from the context of what we are talking about here, poverty, you will notice that the parents are the best service provider to that baby, or to that boy, or to that girl at that moment, because they are the one that interface. They are the one that will be able to manage whatever complications or whatever negativity that might arise as a result of either high risk behavior of that child, or maybe some experiment exposure of that child. So how do we start seeing how to position parent now as beyond seeing them as caregivers, but as service providers, and how they can be confidently able to communicate to their adolescent? I am sorry if what I'm saying doesn't really resonate with many people, but for me, I didn't have a father who was talking to me about sex. I didn't have a father who was talking to me about relationship. In fact, my own ideology of in my adolescenthood, my own ideology of even um relationship was more like a lady is a distraction. That is the perception I had, and it is something that my own auntie, who is a female gender, told me. My own auntie told me, if you want to be somebody in life and you want to achieve and become, then avoid relationship or dating now. That because if you date now, you will get a lady pregnant, and when you get a lady pregnant, it is over for you. So you see that kind of misconceptions. So that already frightened me, that going close to a lady or even having conversation with a lady is a no-no. So throughout the adolescenthood, I have to also manage that reality. And also the aspect of sex. Someone will have been able to bold enough to tell me sex is a natural thing, and it's created by God. And as you evolve in life, you'll find yourself doing it. And again, as you grow into puberty age, these are some of the desires, your libido and all those things will definitely start surfacing. Your semen, your sperm will start coming out. These are realities that I wish someone was there to tell me. But these are things that I was seeing happening to me. And then I will be asking questions because the other people, the other boys that were around me, I was seeing something quite different because they have parents. So, but me, I have to vent for myself. So, and that also make me have some sort of fear around sex. My sex is not about the pregnancy, but I saw sex as a bad thing to do. And every time I think of sex, I think somebody will catch me. And when they catch me, it's a bad thing. I'll be shamed and I'll be beaten also. So this is individual experience. But as I grow and I ask questions and I meet the right people, I was able to understand the phases of life I'm passing through is a reality of who I am. And I don't need to be ashamed of it, but I need to embrace and accept it. So the hairs that we are growing, at some point I was thinking is devilish. Why will I see here in my private part? Why will I see here in my armpit? I was like, this is abnormal. But when they told me it's part of the things that you have to go through, you are growing to become a man now. I saw, really? They say, yes. You say, this voice that is taking in is also showing. And as a boy, when you see your peers and your voice is becoming deep, you want to really show that, yeah, you are getting to that level. So you start deeping the voice well, so that they hear you. And even when you are with your adult, within adult sentence, you want to be talking to make it believe that, me too, I'm arriving and becoming a big boy now. So it is interesting to some extent, but it's also funny at the same time. But it's a reality that I felt like I learned through and I asked. I didn't have anybody telling me about it. I will stop here for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aaron. You were just on time and you made some very, very salient points. And I really admire the fact that you were vulnerable with your story. And I think that that's the whole essence of conversations like this, so that other people can learn from our own challenges and also learn how we're able to overcome them. And I want to commend you for going to the health center. Like, and it's really rare to see that somebody will actually sum up that courage to go to a health center to actually to ask a female nurse what's happening with them. I think that that's something we all should emulate. And your session just queues up. Please, if we have any questions, we can just drop them in the chat section. We'll have a block time for questions and answers. We're going to answer all those at the end. And that just takes us to a second speaker. And you also mentioned that you grew up knowing that sex was a bad thing. And it's like, I'll tell all of us to repeat, sex is good and it was created by God. So we'll take us to our second speaker, our second session, which is on understanding sex and learning self-control. And this is going to be handled by Paul Achidi.
I'm here.
Okay, all right. So I'll just do an intro. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I had to join from another account. My phone has been disturbed. I don't know why.
Okay, I noticed.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for the introduction. Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you, Manzo.
All right, okay. Sorry, my mic was muted. Okay, so Paul is a dynamic and inspirational speaker, renowned for his multifaceted talents. He's a public health and mental health expert, and he channels his passions into addressing critical issues that encompass human, social, and spiritual development. He's also a graphic designer, and he has a heart for the younger generations, both the youth and children. And he has over a decade of experience in mentoring young people. So Paul is going to be taking us on our second module, which is understanding sex and learning self-control. So Paul, we're expecting to learn from you what sex is and how to develop self-control. Over to you. Thank you.
All right, Manzo, thank you so much. Thank you for the privilege. And I would like to say hi to everyone.
Hello.
I can see yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can get you.
Okay. All right, I can say, like I said, thank you so much for the opportunity. And it's really a lot. And I can see from the chat session, there is a lot going in there. Like what we have to talk about, I want to first of all thank Aaron so much for sharing, and then he somehow also got into what I had to say because the topics look intertwined. Now, the first thing that we have here, because we have understanding sex and learning self-control. Now, sex is like they asked from the group from the question section or the comment section. They asked, "Is sex a good thing?" Yeah, sex is good, and it has a target, just like every other thing. Sex has a target. It's for procreation, and there is a time for it. Now, our audience we're looking at, these are teenagers, and for teenagers, it is very incumbent that I think those who are their caregivers or those who are, let me say, their parents ought to, at one point in time, start talking about sex education. I know in Africa is somehow kind of a taboo. And just as everyone said, even me, I wish my dad could have given me sex talk on a normal, straight way, but it came like a joke, but he was doing it. It's many years later when I discovered that what we were doing like that in that car was actually in my own sex education and stuff. So more than the fear, I think they need to understand why. When people don't know the why, they won't know the reasons. In fact, they will have no reasons for what they are doing, whatever thing. And above all, they should know their purpose. Mm-hmm. I think when parents don't teach their teens about knowing that at some point in time, there will be that changes, physiological changes in your body, all those biological changes, because you discover with teens, that's the early age wherein there is that development of secondary sexual reproductive organs. You will start seeing them becoming very obvious. And as Aaron mentioned, the voice of guys will become deepened and stuff. And now, the reason for sex, when it comes to the context, because now we are talking about learning self-control, the reason for sex, when it has to do with teenagers, is just practically validation. So that when I meet my friends, I'm like, bro, you know I've done it now. And some people hate being called virgins. Like the name virgin and then your own name. It's as if they add your name and V is a taboo. So, and then some people also are victims of maybe rape and some other things. And they don't want to also open up. Like, if I say it, that means I'll be stigmatized, but whereas the trauma is there. So when parents create that atmosphere wherein they can talk to the children, some children will actually come and say that, you know, all of a sudden there's a girl in my class that I feel so much drawn to her. I like her so much. There's some infants you even meet, they'll be like, I'll marry this auntie. Somebody's bigger than them. And they're like, I'll marry this auntie. Why? Because you discover that to an extent, given the content that's out there, the world is voracious right now. Everything is targeted to somebody. And for me, I would always like to say, the way things are happening right now, the male gender is targeted, but they don't know. When I say targeted, not as if I'm against female gender, no. This is how it operates. When the male gender is touched, that's a man who's supposed to be head of a family, who will be redundant, who will be acting in a funny way. He will get married to a wife, not respecting the person, and then end up abusing that lady. And the lady is like, I've been trained also to just cope with a guy because he loves me, not knowing where he's going to. All of a sudden, you are in a toxic relationship, And then since they have told you somehow divorce is not good, believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, survive in marriage, you are there, children start coming, you cannot live again for the sake of the children. And that man has been damaged ever since. He doesn't even know that he has a problem. He's an African man, he's walking around with penis. First of all, what makes a man is not the penis. We should remove that one from our thoughts. What makes a man is the soundness of the mind to make decisions. Decisions that the consequences are well studied and known. So a male can be 50 years old. He's not a man. He's just somebody that is walking around. So you discover that now, when he's there and then cannot control the family, the wife has to step into some responsibilities that has to do with the man. She'll be living a life, nobody to speak for her. All of a sudden, when there are some things like maybe NGO programs that have to talk about women and gender, women and or the female gender and stuff, and the ladies start speaking up, they'll be like, hey, the women are taking so much power. It's just because the man was not trained and he has taken on informed decisions. So bringing down to our context, I would like us to say that the first thing that is needed, or for any senior, is that know that the desires of your younger ones will change. Even personal desires, they will change. You will start having physical attachment towards or attraction towards the opposite partner. Let's bring it now back to our context. How do you talk on to a teenager that maybe this girl that is looking for, this baby that he has seen, the baby is tracking him and he doesn't want to leave the sister alone? How do you know that she's not the person for me? First, ask him, do you want to have a family right now? No. Do you have maybe what is required to marry a sister that you have seen? He will tell you that no. Then why are you maybe indulging, or do you want to indulge in a relationship? Have you discovered yourself? Do you know what you were called out to do? One of the things that I discovered with some of the youths I have spoken with is that you will discover at one point in time, most boys even had indulged in sex without even knowing who they are or what they want to be. They have no target for themselves, but they have had so many intercourse more than they have even planned or thought on their vision. So what we have to first of all do is that teach them that their desires are normal, that they will come. Next thing is that you teach them about boundaries, that a girl is not a toy. The female gender is not one of the things you can use.
Thank you.
For a male, it could just be maybe a one-time thing, but for a lady, sex goes beyond just a one-time physical contact. That's why you will see most often when women finish, or maybe a lady finish having sex with a guy, there's always that question of, what are we now? The man does not even have, how do they say, he'll be like, what are we? Are we not John and Mary that just finished doing something? And then if they are hiding under a spiritual context, hypocrisy starts. And they have taught us one of the laws is that should not be caught. So you do whatever thing you're doing, they should not catch you. You can have appearance of evil, but thou shalt not be caught. So after that, after you've thought about boundaries, like know where you are going to. The reason why the Lord had to place Adam, sorry that I'll be quoting scriptures from time to time, had to place maybe Eve in Adam's life is because Adam has had a sense of direction. He had known his purpose, what he was supposed to do. And then now Eve was created as a helpmate for him. Now, you are taking one girl to join your life. Ask about, do you know where you're going to? If you don't know where you're going to, everywhere will look like that direction. Everywhere will look like the right direction. Everybody will look like the person who can help you. That's why you see most guys have multiple sex partners or multiple girlfriends. You don't even know what are the definitions for you choosing a partner or being with somebody. They'll tell you that she's fine, she's nice. She's nice. Hey, the way she calls my name, my body cannot stand. No, that's not true. That's not one of the reasons why you are supposed to go into a relationship. When you teach them so much on their purpose, they will get a sense of direction and their life will take a good shape. And one thing we failed in doing is that we think talking about it will make them angry with us. Like Aaron said, most of us grew up without having people to talk with or people who do not share their story with. Some people were very challenged, but they came up looking all nice with white collar. And another youth is going through that same thing. Just because he cannot know that maybe this kind of senior I'm looking at went through a kind of problem, the person cannot come up and then also share his own challenge. But when you say that challenges are normal, they come to everybody. Like Mr. Aaron was saying, I went to the hospital to say that, hey, my penis is rising up all of a sudden when I'm asleep. I'm not feeling okay. Maybe I'm sweating too much. When the girl came beside me, there is a way I'm feeling. You discover that all of a sudden, this person has started experiencing those changes. But if they discover that you scored at everything, they won't talk with you. They won't. The person will just be a holy criminal. You will not see him say anything. He will just do whatever he's doing, comes back as an appearing normal. Another thing that we need to teach them, also our teenagers, is to teach them how to make informed decisions, especially the male gender. There used to be something like a training for the culture of a gentleman. You teach a guy how to make informed decisions. Okay, you like somebody. Why do you like this person? Why are you interested with this? Don't say, hey, why do you like a girl? No. You like this lady? Yes. Why are you interested in the person? He said, because she's nice. Okay. Are you sure she'll be nice every day? The person will be like, okay, not that she's not nice, but I think that somebody who might want to. I think while growing up, I remember even in school, let me just share this experience. There were some people who had girlfriends early enough as back as from one. I was even stabbed one time to my hand for writing down the name of somebody whose girlfriend happened to be in my class. And then I was class prefect. So the guy came and then they were on to me. They took a pen. You see, if it was another part of my body, that would have been a serious damage. I have a scar right here in my hand. So for that reason, I just mark it that if I talk to a girl, Jesus should surely be honored. But then these guys did not understand the informed decisions. When you do informed decisions, you also know how to you study consequences. Okay, I'm with a lady. Tendency is that when we are all young, I don't know where I'm going to. I don't have my focus. I don't have anybody like a mentor I want to look up to. Now, what I want is just a girl to be with. Okay. There's something I really wanted to talk about, just that it skipped my mind. On the fact that for males or females, let our teens be taught on how to get a mentor. It is very important and cannot be overemphasized. Let everything be taught on how to get a mentor. Let them write who they want to be, a doctor, a lawyer, a carpenter, a seamstress, whatever. In fact, not a carpenter, is furniture designer. Whatever you want to be, get a mentor. Now, just ask that thing. Did your mentor maybe slept or impregnated a girl when he was 16 years old? The person started saying that, no, then what's working you? Don't you see he was taking these decisions? And then the mentor too will have that ability to say that this is what I did when I was here. This is what I would have done differently. Those youths will start taking it, and then you will see all of a sudden there will be self-growth, there will be self-development. Now, back to what I was saying now, let them know that what they're going through is normal. It happens to everybody. It happened to you, even the coach, at one point in time. And this is how you overcame them. Then teach them consequences. I think when people know the consequences of every action, they would weigh it and then ask themselves, am I ready enough to bear this consequence with me? Take, for example, indulging into early sexual activities. First, there is that tendency of early pregnancy. Do you want to become a father at 14 years old? You see the guy will say, I just want to be with her, but ask him, do you want to be a father? Will you, if they should bring another human now, a small human to this earth, can you father the person? You say, yeah. Ask him, do you have the necessary materials to take care of your wife that you've, because he's not a sister again, he's your wife that you've married, not me, the father of man, take care of that woman. You would have to leave my house. Do you have what it takes to take care of that lady? You will start saying, mommy, I'm not like that. No, this is your child you want to bring the world. Do you have pampers that you buy? Do you know how they're selling Nido and all those milk? I don't know how they call them, none and all the rest. You know the cost of them. So he will discover that what he needs to do is to get a life. What he needs to do is to get a life. And then, oh my God, I have an incoming call. So sorry, I had an incoming call. You will discover that now when he has learned these things, you'll be like, no. I need to keep all this in check. And one other thing I wanted to add is that most of the people who were crushing on when we were teenagers, or those guys were teenagers, I told you some of my friends were dating already when they were from one, or some of my classmates, they were not my friends. Really. You discover that all those girls, none of them, I said none to even at least one, end up marrying those persons. None. They will either wait for the ladies, they went to somebody who is much more older than these guys that they had known, or for the guys, they went to one other younger baby that is young, fresh blood. That's what happened. So if you teach girls that these guys have what they'll be looking at, you teach the men also that these ladies have a kind of man that they will get married to. Not you, because you cannot provide all the security. A woman likes security. It's normal. Don't curse any girl for that. It is normal. She needs a man that has gotten a vision, well understood where he's going to support it. This young teenager has no, what does he know? What does he know he's doing with his life? And he himself, we need to get a vision. And then we want a girl that can understand a vision. Practically, the person that is of his age group, we fight him with him. It will take the grace of God to find somebody who is of your age group and believes in your vision. That's when you have shown beyond measure that you are a man. You can give informative or informed, you can make informed decisions, and the woman will follow. So many people complain about followership, but they themselves are not leading. And leadership starts from leading yourself through your emotions, through your actions. See, actions are different from emotions. If emotions make you to take an action, you're a fool. And the Bible tells us that anybody who cannot put up, who is not living a principled life, it's like a city without walls. Attack can come from every direction and it will always be in the ruins. So those are some of the stuff. And then a gentleman or a gentleman, the adolescent needs to know that also that they should separate themselves from peer pressure. It's normal. Some people, given the fact that you were trained, you have mentors, some people have no mentors, and you will go to school with them. When you see them dating, don't say this is what we are all doing. No, you cannot reach your destiny alongside every other person because of what they're doing. No, know that you have a plan. This is a country of over 22 million people. Just one person is a president. Just one. Just one. And you could be the next. But you need to know. You need to know. I'll also talk about now lifestyles in general. I used to tell some people, there are some certain ways you live your life. The result of this certain way you're living will be so obvious to you. The salary will come with full effect. You cannot tell me that you want to be somebody who is great, you don't study. It's not possible. It's just impractical. You cannot say, okay, you want to be this and this and this. They say when you just start doing some certain things, who you will be revealed at the end of it. So I used to give a random example. Have you ever seen a day that the president of the country goes and sits in the bar drinking? The person says no. Is it that he cannot? You say he can. Then why is he not there? You discover that because of what he has been called to do, that decision or that position makes him not to engage in some other things, even as going down to sex. Who you want to be starts to tell all your life. It shapes you in a certain direction that there are some things that opportunity will be there. That means clear opportunity, clear road. Everything is just clicking. But because of who you want to be, your purpose, it will give you direction. So those are some of the things. And then above all, there should always be that room to study. Study lives of other great men. There's a book even, What Makes Great Men Great? Study. You will discover that everything on the sun has a pattern. If you follow wayward people, of course, you will come back with young teenage pregnancy. If you follow a disciplined life, of course, you will come back with a well-disciplined life, having a wife that you got married at the right time, having a well-defined relationship wherein the partner knows what she's coming to do. Imagine a girl walks into your life and she doesn't know what to do. She'll be complaining that she doesn't know what to do, and you'll be like, how can you say you don't know what to do? You will be fighting in one direction. So I think those are some of the things that I wanted to bring to the limelight. I think Mr. Aaron has really shown so much light, and there is Pastor Kingsley and some other people who have to also bring it up. I would just like to end right now. I might take questions maybe later, but I'm still here. Thank you.
Okay. This is just so amazing. Thank you so much for being honest, for being real, and for calling a spade, for calling square a square. The chat box was just so on fire, and I like the fact that you were very detailed in how young men can gain self-control and able to evaluate their actions by looking at the consequences of their actions.
Mm-hmm.
And also not looking at females with not looking at females as toys. So we just,
Yeah.
if we have any questions, please let's just drop the questions in the chat room so that we can talk about them later. Thank you again so much for your
You're welcome.
vulnerability and for your honesty. We'll just take our fourth speaker. The third speaker cannot join us right now. He just told us that he was robbed on his way home. So we'll just go to the fourth speaker, and then maybe we can talk about his own part of the section at the end in the form of a conversation. So in the next, the fourth module is going to be talking about the importance of mentorship for boys. And I think that you spoke about it in passing in your conversation. So by this point, we're going to have Mr. Doom Stanisla. He's a certified life coach and personal development mentor, as well as a certified menstrual hygiene and sexual reproductive health practitioner. Stanislas, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you so much. So thank you for joining us. You have the floor, please.
A pleasure. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just as Manzo mentioned, I'm Dum Stanisla, and it's really a privilege to be part of this conversation. Manzo, I don't know if your name really resonates. I don't know if we met somewhere.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do. Yeah, we met in a couple of
Like,
places.
really, we know ourselves in person.
Yes, we do.
Hey, then Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay. I think I was really fascinated by the words of our second speaker, the one that just left. Thank you so very much. I'll just dive quick since we have barely some little few minutes to share here. It's literally just a conversation. So we'll be looking at I'll be talking on the importance of mentorship to boys. In fact, let me just categorize them. The importance of mentorship to teenage boys. We all know that a mentor is one that can provide unbiased advice or opinion using their relevant life experiences and knowledge, to someone. But this time around, we are looking at a mentor that is offering these services to a teenage boy, which means it's not career mentorship. It's not business mentorship. So this should be this we can also address this kind of services, but like this can be personal development mentorship, like personal development guidance. Like this is somebody that wants to nurture a life so that this life can identify potential for himself, so that their quest or their quest in life can easily be met, which is towards success. And with this now, we are looking where all the ideas shared from the mentor to the teenage boys, the mentee that happens to be the teenage boy can better understand what step to take, whether to pursue the ideas that the mentor is giving him, or walk away. I mean, the baseline is, the bottom line is, no matter what the mentor does as an activity or as a service to guide a particular teenage guy, within that stage of teenagehood, it is very complicated. These are young people have been there. So I remember when I was very young, taking ideas from the old, which we call them the old, really, a mentor, really, and in this dispensation, a mentor mustn't be an old man. But in that, when I was very young, getting advice from the old, we usually tell them like, man, your era has passed. Your era has really passed. So it's very complicated. So at some point, it's either the mentee received the knowledge or the ideas, or they discard it and they walk away. So similarly, a mentor can also, is two ways there is benefit here. A mentor, which can literally be somebody with age and experience and life and all that, can also do benefit from this from this mentee who is a teenager. For example, if you have a mentor now that just coming in, a mentor who is in his 30s or 35, passing on knowledge and experience to a teenager, let's say 15, 16, 17, these people, these young people, they're coming in a dispensation that is totally in the information era. I mean, we didn't grow up, we didn't grow up within in that information era. So these people, they are they are also into technology and stuff. Information is everywhere. So likewise, it's just a give and take, from the left hand to the right hand. So the mentor can also gain some advice and knowledge from the mentee, which is a teenager. But now, the mentor's role to the mentee, who is a teenage boy, I would just go along to say mentorship is a very powerful tool. That it can help young boy or young boys develop their skills. It is very at times there's what we identify in these very young people as skills, as potential, might just be some infant stage. But I think mentorship is very, very needed to guide these people's skills and potentials at that stage, so that they can nurture that skills at that stage to carry them further, for profitable reasons. Also again, the role of the mentor to a mentee can boost the mentee's confidence. They need the confidence they need to succeed in life. Unfortunately enough, what we are requesting what we are discussing as the importance of mentors to the life of teenage boys. Not enough men always step up to be mentors. Like we are scared with the society. Our societies are scarce of mentors. So one request that I'm putting forth here is that maybe we could have this conversation again and again, and we blow the trumpet so that more people will come into this cry, and they solicit to be mentors so that they can nurture this younger generation. And also to just as I mentioned, that because we don't have a reasonable amount of men that come out to be mentors. The US former President Barack Obama, in one of his speech, when he said that the only way we can change the world is to invest in young people. I think that's the role of a mentor. Invest in a teenage boy. He says, empower a young man, and but the moment you empower a young man, just one young man, you have created a throne for a princess in the future. Yeah, you empower a young man here, you make a little girl a princess in the future, because I think that mentorship and that guidance is what we propel that young man, to be able to handle a lady maybe of the same age as they are growing as teenagers, until that lady becomes a princess, well handled by this young man. So that's the same thing Barack Obama is saying, that we should invest in the young, and we are looking at directly the infant, and then it all starts with mentorship. Also to LeBron Brown, the famous US basketballer, he said in his, or I want to say like in his community, he said my responsibility to my community is to give back and empower the next generation to be better than myself, which means we might have committed some errors, like just like the first and the second speaker, they said the conversation about sexuality, we don't really have that. Even we have it in our school, but it's not really details. After class, what else? Well, our parents, they don't have, parenting don't really have those kind of talks. We don't have those talks in our homes. You know, teenage, the menstrual cycle and all that. We don't have this conversation. How to manage our sexuality. We don't have this conversation. So having a mentor, whether male, whether having a mentor, whether male or female, that is mentoring a teenage guy, you know, somehow already takes that guy like twice his age. Like they're giving you a shortcut to be 35. You understand? To escape those challenges that you have to naturally escape. You have to naturally face those challenges and champion them before getting to the age of 35. A mentor will help you cope those things. I mean, like help you shape them. And then now, this now take us now to what is really the importance of mentorship to these young people. Now, globally, both in professional, personal development, whatever the sector is, you can't become what you have to become successfully without seeking a mentor. All the great people in the world, they all have mentors. Looking at mentorship to young boys. According to the study conducted by the Research Institute of Young People, it says that young people who have mentors have 55% are 55% more likely to enroll into college. Why? Because the moment their mentors start having consistent conversations with them, education is very important, not just classroom education. The second speaker highlighted the point of you must teach them how to read. They must solicit knowledge, you know, they must request for insight that support their life of understanding of what life is about and success. It all come by knowledge and schooling. So now, the moment they start getting mentorship at that early teenage level of their life, 55%, according to this statistics, says 55% of them are likely to go like towards secondary school and above and towards high school. Yes. And then also again, these same people that have these young people, young teenage boys that are privileged to have mentors, 46% of them are less likely to use drugs, which means it is through mentorship that the mentor uses true life experiences and guidance to educate this young boy on the negative effects of drug intake at that youthful stage. So he organizes and he arranges this team. He will definitely organize and arranges this young guy's footstep to know how the intake of drug will affect them, right? And then at some point, because of that knowledge and the trust they will have for their mentor, which it might be somebody, might be a close family member, not literally their parents. Like parenting is directly different from mentorship. So the mentor might not be a direct family member, but the mentor can just maybe a distant relative, a distant family friend, you know, or maybe somebody strange. It might just be a classroom teacher that has taken upon a young guy, you know, and want to speak life into that person, want to speak success into that young guy. So it says 46% of such young boys that are privileged to gain mentorship in their teenage age of life, 46% of them are less likely to be engaged in drugs or drug abuse. 46% of them. I mean, that's a great number. Imagine each teenage boy has a mentor. I want to say this number will skyrocket from 46 to about 86. It will multiply itself. For example, me, by God's grace, I'm running an enterprise, a media production management and consultancy enterprise, which I'm currently here in the office in the weekend. So I've been having some requests, you know. Last 2 weeks, I've had like 5 teenage guys. These guys are pencil artists. These young boys are pencil artists. So they came into my office and they wanted guidance on how I can encourage them in their art, how I can coach them. But one of them, after I introduced myself, I know we had some little exchange. One of them said, sir, I might come here for guidance and stuff, but I just feel like I need mentorship. I feel like you should mentor me, and that satisfies me a lot. You understand? That really satisfies me a lot to see young people, to see a young man. We need this era in which things are moving so fast, requesting for mentorship and guidance. And immediately I welcome you with open arms. Like, at least there's an opportunity for me to plow back.
Yeah.
Yes, it gives me an opportunity to plow back. And also to the young people, young boys that are privileged to get mentorship within their teenage age. It says, this statistic says 27% of them are less likely to start drinking alcohol, start abusing alcohol. There's I think during the festive period, we saw some videos on social media trending where we saw, and I'm not sure they were up to teenagers. We saw some very young kids, very, very young kids, being assaulted with alcohol. And the adults beside them were making fun of it. We had a conversation one time, and a group of persons were like, they were, people were falling on those kids. I'm like, no, these kids are stubborn and like stuff. Why should they drink alcohol? But it all falls back on those adults that were serving them the alcohol. And it shows more clearly that their parents were right there. Their parents were right there. Imagine these children have talks about abstaining from alcohol, that young. The moment they start understanding messages, they start getting that training of abstaining from alcohol. These kids, no matter what you do, they will not find themselves there. Just like in the school, like I have one young guy at home. When each time he comes back from school, he will say, hey, uncle, please help me with my assignment. We had the competition one time, and he said, uncle, please help me with my assignment. I said, oh, what? It was just an addition subtraction kind of exercise. So I saw there, right in his booklet, and it is written 7 plus 3. So I went in to tell him that 7 plus 3 equals to 10. Do you know what he replied? He said, no, uncle, 7 plus 3 is not 10, because my madam said it is 5 plus 5 that is 10. Those are the words of a mentor resonating in the mind of a young kid. Imagine we start empowering these young people so that they can be cultured, and incorporate good habits and abstain from alcohol. This number of just having 27% is going to triple itself. I'm saying so. And then also by saving a positive role models, mentorship can be as far as, and it can be as close. Not having a tete-a-tete physical conversation. You can also have, show them a role model. Look at this person, and they start watching that person, that they desire to be like that person, and all that, and it trims them and gives them positive behavior, positive attitude and behaviors, because they want to become like such person. one straight up to the importance. Mentorship to teenage boys helps build the next generation leaders.
Thank you.
Yeah, am I done with time?
Yes, thank you so much. I see that you have a lot to
Yeah,
share,
yeah.
but we are really running
I
out
think
of
the
time.
conversation will continue. Maybe we'll get deeper when we get
Yes,
into
the
the.
questions. So we can just run along so we can
So
have
thank you so
questions.
very much, Manzo, and over to you.
Directions. Thank you so much for sharing with us your experiences as well. And thank you to our participants for hanging up until this time. We just have a brief interlude, which is a poem presented by Grace. Then right up after that, we can have questions and answers. Grace, can you hear me?
Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
Mm.
Okay, what a web banner. So interesting. So just want to congratulate.
Can you have your camera on, please? Hello.
Organization Committee for enlightening us based on the topic of the web banner in the form that we title and so our poem is titled Teenage Pregnancy, Let's Involve the Men. In a world where dreams are yet to bloom, where adolescents meet the age of terrible destiny, the men arise as champions, bold and true, to prevent the occurrence of teenage pregnancy. With heart of courage, they stand tall with immune spirit to end ignorance, for they know power lies in their hands. They become our guardians, the light empowering the youth, dissiping the night with knowledge and compassion in the prevention of teenage pregnancy. For men knows that in knowledge lies strength. In strength, we have hope to navigate the challenges and help others to cope. So let's celebrate these men of great minds as we are seeing them expressing, who champion the cause with all their will, preparing the way for a better human race. And as they stand united, hand in hand to paint a future where dreams expand, where teenage pregnancy becomes an issue of the past, and a wall of possibilities becomes ours to conquer. Thank you for your keen attention. And we are so happy to have the men on the floor this evening. I think I will give back the floor to the host.
Thank you so much. Please, can we give a clap? I'm sure we can clap. Give a clap to Grace. That's a creative poem. It just captures all what our speakers have been saying. Thank you again, Grace, for that beautiful poem. And we are celebrating the life of great men, and we are saying that teenage pregnancy is going to be a thing of the past, and we're going to live a world full of possibilities. So at this point, we just have questions, comments, directions from the participants. You can just raise your hand or mute yourself and speak, or you can drop in the chat section. Is anybody's hand raised? Okay, I can see. Okay, maybe we should take, I can see Cynthia, I can see Ernest. All right, Ernest.
Hello, everyone. Good evening from my end. Okay, I must say, well, it has been a really great session so far. I've really learned a lot, gotten a lot from other people. I'm not asking a question per se. I just want to maybe add something, just a little contribution. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about like influence, like how can we influence behavior? So we have spoken here a lot about mentorships and a lot of things. But there's this pertinent issue of like, it's one thing to talk and another thing for someone to take what you've told them. I'm pretty sure there are many of us here when we were younger, we had elderly people that are kind of trying to advise us and maybe talk to us about sexuality. And while they are saying their thing, you are like, this one that you are saying is your own. So we already have our preconceived ideas in our head. We know that, okay, I'm not going to listen to you no matter what you say. And that's a really very big challenge. That's how can we circumvent that? How can we actually scale through that and make sure that we speak to these boys and girls and they listen to us actually? So from the knowledge that I've gathered so far, sometimes for you to communicate and talk to somebody, you need to actually gain their confidence. So you need to have emotional access to someone's life. If you don't have emotional access, studies have shown that if you talk to someone, the brain has the logical aspect and the emotional aspect, which is the limbic center of the brain. So when you talk to the limbic center of the brain, you're actually talking to the emotions. So it's one thing if you are disciplining the child on something, and they trust you and they believe in you, they will easily listen to you because you know that you are their wall. So it's one thing if you're beating a child and that child does not trust you, does not believe in you, you are wasting your time no matter what you tell them. So I think as parents or maybe as mentors, we have to try to get the emotions of our children. So we have to get them to trust us. We have to get them to love us. We have to get them to see us as role models. So if we create that emotion within them, we create that interaction. If we can access their emotions, now we can easily interact with them. You can easily create an atmosphere whereby you are talking about sexuality freely, and that child is really very interested because this is someone that they trust. This is someone that they believe in. Compared to as if they don't trust us, if they don't believe in us, we have parents that are like tyrants. They're like, okay, you're going to do this, and we end up having children that don't listen to this parent. So I think this is also a personal area that we really need to address. Yeah, how can we actually have emotional access into our children's life? So
thank you so much, Bang Ernest, for sharing. Emotional access is very important. Creating relationship is very important if we need to have young boys who listen to men. Cynthia, I can see you, but please, we have a question in the chat box. It says, please, my question is this. Is it right for a boy to date, that is, have a girlfriend? If yes, what age or what level in life? Aaron, are you still with us? Can you help us answer that briefly? Is Aaron here?
Hello, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So there's a
Yeah.
question. Okay. Did you get the question?
Yeah. Let me check the chat box. Is it right for a boy to date, have a girlfriend? If yes, what age or what level in life? So if you look at the word dating emanates from this is coming from an aspect of individual that have reached some appropriate age of being able to let me say manage their mental, emotional, psychological, financial, and physical life. But for a boy that is going through the phase of development, going through the phases of child development, it will be a little bit inappropriate to use the word date. It is natural. I have a I have a three-year boy and 4 month boy that when I go out with him and he see the opposite sex, as little as he is, if he see a male, there's a way he reacts. But if you see a female, there's this kind of differences you see in him. But his closeness to girls will not be a basis for me to now say, okay, let me start allowing you to date, or let me start. So we need to understand that dating is different from just seeing a lady and admiring her. Dating leads you to some sort of level of commitment. So for me, best advice, it depends on countries. Most of us become matured right from 16, 17, because these are puberty age. But also some maybe due to exposure, maybe due to the kind of level of experiences they have had, they can manage. So 16, 17, 18 are actually, I am not putting it as a fix, but I'm just saying it based on the reality, because as an individual, I can tell you by 14 years, I was independent. And by 14 years, I've already started writing letters to a girl, telling how I love her and getting reply. And then I would talk to my grandma and said, I have a girlfriend in school. I'm in love with her. My grandma would now tell me, I have a condom in case you have to want to have sex, use that condom and all that. But you can see, for me, it was at 14 because I grew up with an American woman. But if you come into an African context, at that same age, if you even talk sometimes about a woman, it could be problem. So I would just recommend 16, 17, 18. If you are within that age, and of course, you've attained a level of emotional maturity, you've attained a level of physical maturity, mental maturity, because dating comes with a lot of pressure and it comes with a lot of expectation. So if you are not ready in all these indices, I would suggest you don't even go there. Let our boys be our boys. When they reach reasonable age, which is most times in our countries 18 years, they can go into it, because at that age, if you eventually go into dating, which is more of commitment, and you eventually get that girl pregnant, you know life too can be devastating for that boy. So let me leave it as that. Dating is for people that have been matured in all aspects of their life. And if we have a boy that has not yet attended, let's leave it at 18. But if anybody in 17, 18 that have been able to have this other aspect of their life fixed, it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you for your vulnerability. And I'll add that sometimes you can have a 40-year-old who is still a boy. So in some cases, age does not necessarily mean maturity. And like Paul was saying, do you have a sense of direction? How mature are you in other areas? Okay, Cynthia, your hand is still up. You have the floor. Cynthia?
Thank you, everyone.
Good evening.
I really have a very simple question to ask. First, I want to say thank you very much to everyone that has been engaging in this webinar. Thanks and God bless you. And my question really, I'm throwing it to the floor. I'm throwing it to everyone, and it's a very simple question. It goes like this: why is it easier to talk to young girls about sexuality? Why is it a lot easier to talk to young girls? This question was deduced mostly from the first speaker who spoke to us and said it's a lot easier to talk to young girls, have their moms talk to them, and it works out fine. And for the young boys, yeah, their dads are hardly available, to talk to them, or just feel like, okay, let boys be boys. They're going to learn eventually. They're going to know what's up eventually. So I really want to know, why is it a lot easier to talk to young girls out there, but then it's difficult to talk to the boys? Is it because the physical effects of being abused sexually is more evident in the girls than in the boys? That's why I really want to know why. Thank you very much.
The floor is open to any of the speakers who wishes to respond. Okay. Is Paul still here?
Yeah, I'm here. Maybe I was thinking of talking after Aaron or something. I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I would like to say thank you for the question, first of all. And even though I had some things I wanted to say with respect to what Aaron mentioned about. Now, the thing is that with ladies, there is that tendency of that they have been open to early on engagement. A girl will start menstruating early enough. So when she sees the first blood, definitely there is that tendency to go to a female, maybe another sister or a mom, and said, "Hey, mommy, this is what happened," or maybe he was in school, and then she will come back home and then she will tell it to her mom. Her mom will start telling her, "Okay, what happens is that it's normal. There is no wound inside of you. This is to tell you that you've started experiencing womanhood." As early and as simple as it is, that is the beginning of the initiation into sex talk. And she already knows that, okay, I can bring it to this person, I can vent to my mom. Definitely, when she knows that my mom gives me good advices on how I should take care of myself as a lady, that's, for example, there are some girls that when they don't know about the whole stuff, they menstruate maybe in class. What happened is there that the boys just started laughing. You see that the only person that could shield her out for that stuff was her parent, her mom, for example, mostly the mom. That brings her to a platform where she starts talking with the mom already, and the mom now tell her that this thing that happened to you is not bad, it's normal. So this continual communication brings trust. There is no way communication can be established if there is no trust. No, it will just be hypocrisy and then acting up funny and stuff. You see, for example, Aaron mentioned something. I think Aaron and his grandmom, I think it was grandma he was talking about. Grandma has also built a kind of trust and communication. In fact, communication first before it came into trust. What people want is trust. No, you build communication first. The trusting will come in where we can come and talk to you about everything and anything, anytime we'll do it. And then with respect to what Ernest let me just put it out there. Another reason is that boys would really not go to somebody whom they don't think have a clear direction or a pointer to what they're looking at. Most of their parents are just military generals that never joined the army. So they got to explore their talent just at home. And now, what a young man wants is this. He would be looking for somebody who can give me sound idea. How does he know somebody he can get sound idea from? The first thing, you must live a life that is an example, exemplary lifestyle with birth. For example, I think our last speaker spoke about, he said a quote from Barack Obama. Why would I listen to Barack Obama's quote? He became the first black president, and then there is a kind of lifestyle that he operated upon while he was in office. What he will say, I believe in it. You will not want people to just get validation. You don't want to get validation without having a track record. I think somebody made mention of the fact that these children, during the festive period, some kids were exposed to a kind of drinking stuff like that. People were laughing, but they discovered at the end that it was the person that gave the drink that is at fault. With this, you discover that when the students start going up, they'll be like, if this person can do these kind of things to these colleagues, then I should never trust this kind of person. So trust is birthed from the place of you doing what you want to preach about. Number two, have a consistency or a track record in doing that thing that a youth will be so see it and then be inspired by it. So when we see those things, it's easy. And for boys, there is a way you can bring somebody into mentorship. I think Manu asked a question there. This way you can bring a guy to mentorship. Most people don't know about it. Most people are not aware. And then some people don't know how to open the topic. So what we do first of all is that as these discussions go about, we can always tell them that, okay, I know a guy that can help you with this thing, and then maybe mentors can be gotten, because the worst part of the whole thing is getting a bad mentor. Okay, it's as worse as not doing. You should have let you should have let the person be. But now, when you've had a good recommendation, at times, if you see it, there's something that we do. They say evil thrives because the good people are quiet. I don't just see good and evil people. When you see what is wrong and then you stay quiet, you're already supporting what's not okay. So you could meet a guy, not necessarily at the heat of when he has done what is wrong. Let's not say maybe sexually yet, or maybe talking with a girl. You ask him, for example, John, what do you want to become? And don't say, come here, I want to have a meeting with you. No, guys will fly. Men don't like when you call them to a meeting, whether a younger man, an older man, especially a mature man, he will do that. But there is a way to talk to somebody. You'll be like, hey, I noticed this thing. You could bring a random discussion. You have a target. The Bible says that he who wins the soul is wise. So you must have a target in your mind. You want to bring a guy to mentorship. What you do is that you start with a random question. Hey, I like your shoes. And they'll be like, oh, these shoes, not the thing. And then people are talking there. Don't be too formal. the target is for you to get the boy to mentorship, to get him to learn. So when you start doing that, now you ask him, have you ever tried this one? Have you ever done this? Have you ever done this? I discovered that you really have interest in maybe doing this. Do you know somebody? Do you know that maybe I discovered you have an interest in playing football? Do you know about Samuel Eto'o? Do you know about Mila Roach? He said, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't have a way of getting to them. And then he said, okay, I have somebody who trained Samuel Eto'o. That's the biggest breakthrough you're giving to the guy. And then you will see him follow you every day. He'll be in your house. Uncle, that person that trained Eto'o. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm actually some people also. Yeah, you discover that the person will be like, the person that I trained Eto'o, can I have his number? When are we going to meet him? When is this one? Whatever you tell him, sweep this house before we go there, he will do it. Because he knows that you want to take him to what he wants to be. I think I should stop there. Yeah. But
Yeah.
create an impact, show them the reason why you want to do what, then they'll follow you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for Paul for being elaborate. We have really gone past our time. I would have loved us to continue. So I'll just ask Stanisla to give us 30 seconds, please. Your last word. 30 seconds, and Aaron as well, 30 seconds, so that we can close. Stanilas, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Manzo. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for that insight. Aaron, thank you so very much, and I'm glad to meet everybody and all what you guys have shared. Yeah, all what people have shared, it has really resonated, and it will help me to, just like I said, I've accepted some 5 young teenage guys here that I'll be carrying along in the process of mentorship. So thank you so very much for this session. And in conclusion to my presentation, I says that mentorship is a powerful tool that can help young boys develop their skills, knowledge, and confidence, that can help them succeed in life by providing them positive role models and mental health, support. Male mentors can have a great significance in the life of next generation. And that is what I'm here to do. And that's what I know all of us, we are here to do. So thank you so very much, and over to you. Good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Stanislas. Aaron, 30 seconds, please.
Thank you very much. I will just say we need to still continue to keep advocating for parent-to-child communication toolkit and guidelines across different countries that we are, and seeing how that can serve as a mechanism to foster communication between the children, whether they're adolescents, and then the parent. And that's the only way we can harness the positive aspect of puberty stages and also mitigate new unplanned pregnancy amongst adolescent girls and young women. I hope that this conversation is something that will continue to get ourselves enlightened and educated. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron, for being concise and precise. Guys, thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate that you could give us this much of your time. I'll just ask one of our participants, who was one of the first to register, Lemuel, to give us a closing remark, and we can call it a day. Lemuel, are you with us? Can you hear me?
Hi, yes. Hi, Manzo. Yeah.
Hi. Thank you for joining us. So you just give us a closing remark and we call it a day.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity to speak. The speakers have been amazing. I've been following all through, and one of the reasons why I joined was to actually hear the men talk about this, because sometimes it's always like the ladies are the problem. So it was great to hear men giving solutions and, giving like practical solutions on how to combat teenage pregnancy, and they didn't just do it in a shallow way, but they gave it in depth, right from purpose, beginning from knowing who you are as a man, like Aaron was sharing, which was actually great, because sometimes us girls, we don't know what guys struggle with. I think the narrative out there is mostly about girls, because girls, I don't know, maybe we open up more and our stories are just out there. But it was great hearing from Aaron about his struggles as a young man, and also from our other speaker who shared about how to, who gave the practical steps on how to combat those things. So it was really interesting, and I'm just happy I found the webinar and I was able to join. Yeah, and also the chats. Yeah, I've just been reading the chats as well. It's been great, the conversations there as well. So thank you all so much.
And thank you for following through. Like we said, we keep the conversation rolling, and we all have a role to play in breaking the cycle. Do we have Nana Kumson with us? Is he here? Nana, can you?
I'm
hear?
here.
Okay. All right. So please, we just have you speak, and then after that, we can all retire activities for the day.
It was a really interesting session. It was interesting to hear from the perspectives of men, especially since when it comes to sexual health, men are socialized differently from women. So young boys and young girls are socialized differently when it comes to sexual and reproductive health. And so it was interesting to hear from the perspective of men and what they think needs to happen in order to have better sexual health for all genders involved. So this was very helpful. It was very interesting, and I'm excited to see what work can be done from the conversations that were had here.
Thank you. Oh my God, this has been a beautiful session, an amazing learning session. So guys, thank you so much for joining. Like I can say